should be played at high volume. This should be played at high volume. This should be played at high volume. Preferably in a residential area.
The following thoughts on Hoppe Hour do not represent Cox Media Group or its sponsoring. Anything you hear may and will be used against you. Thank you. Voted as best local podcast in Tampa Bay by the Creative Loafing. You're listening to Hoppe Hour.
What up? What's happening? This is Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe. And live at the Toco Works headquarters here in Ybor City is the very classy comedian known as Jared Waters, who is going to be relocating himself to New York City. So this is a bit of a farewell episode. What's up, bro?
Hey, how you doing, man? Good to see you. How's the wife? How's the kids?
My wife and my kids are doing good. You know, they ignore me all the time, but it's all good.
That's good. Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose, man.
Now, dude, I'm going to miss you, man, but Tampa Bay is going to miss you as well. What was the ultimate decision factor on leaving the Bay Area to go to New York City?
I mean, it's just every time in a man's life, you know, you gotta take leaps of faith. You know what I mean? So eventually, you gotta go to the majors and find out how you swing the bat. You know what I mean? So that was the goal. I just looked up, and it was really that time to make the move. You know what I mean? I really want to see how I fare up, and that's where the big boys play. So that's where I had to go, man.
And now, who are some radio guys and who are some comedians that are helping you along the way during this journey?
I mean, right now, people have said, you know, I got some people, you know, that I could call or anything else. But right now, I'm just trying to figure it out on my own right now. And then when I get to the point, I'll make the phone calls and make everything else. But all the guys here have a lot of connections, and, you know, they help me out and they pass my name on, so.
What was your last show like this weekend at Side Splitters, man?
And it was freaking great, man. Feature for Nick Griffin, very funny comic, and man, Clark Brooks hosted, young comic, working it out. And it was really good, man. It was just that feeling of just being loose on stage. The jokes were hitting, and it was just a fun time. It all came into full circle, because I remember when I first got there, and I realized that I wasn't nearly where I was when I first started back in the day. So when I got to Side Splitters, I was just like I had the bar, I had jokes, but they weren't like jokes for like adults yet. They're just really just goofy stuff. But then I found my voice and found out what I wanted to say and found out how I wanted to fit people. So then everything started working, man.
What was the key to finding yourself and going from having immature jokes to having jokes about real life? Because the issues that you talk about and the topics that you dabble in are actually things that adults can relate to.
Right. I mean, what happened to me was first, when I moved to Florida, I moved to Orlando when I was doing this internship at Disney World. And me and my roommates at the time, I was got like suspended at Disney. And my roommates were telling me, I was like, oh, I came here to do stand-up. And like, oh, you did stand-up? And this one of my roommates passed me the Mr. P. Patrice O'Neal CD. And after I listened to that CD, I realized, I was like, all right, this is what stand-up's about. It's about having an opinion. It's about not being afraid to speak your views. And then I remember I did a couple, went to the Side Splitters mic and everything else, started hitting the mics, got a couple guest sets, and then I started saying things, like using the old jokes I used to use because they always used to work. And BT was just like, look, stop saying these. You can't say period juice on stage, man. It's not it's shocking humor. And I was like, wow, I didn't even know it was just shocking stuff. He goes, the joke's funny already. Just cut all that other stuff out. So I needed those people, or like my friend Rajel Bell, or Rajel Bell, Rajel. Rajel, he left a long time ago, but I remember he had more time at a comedy club. The thing about colleges, you're around colleges, and no one can give you advice because they don't know what they're freaking doing either. We weren't around like a real scene. We weren't working with like real comics. The comics that came to college, they really weren't trying to talk to us. They were really just trying to, you know, mess with the chicks. So being around a comedy scene in a comedy club, Raj would be like, hey, man, you mind if I give you advice? I was like, yeah. He goes, you shouldn't talk about abortion like as soon as you get on stage because that turns people off. I was like, oh, man, I didn't think about it like that. He's like, be likable first. I was like, yeah, I needed that. So it was like other comics that I've already been in a comedy club taught me. I was like, all right, be likable, be this, be that before you do this. And it was just learning, all right, this is how you build and stuff.
Would you say when you became a teacher is sort of when you became likable because it's issues that people can relate to, like having kids?
I mean, I've always been a teacher. I mean, I've been teaching and doing stand-up. That's what I used to do. Like, I used to do it in college about talking about my internship, but it was when I embraced being a teacher on stage. Like, when I was like, man, these are, like, I didn't think these stories are funny until people were like, you got to tell these stories on stage, man. These are freaking funny. And I was like, oh, man, maybe it is. And I was like, oh, that's the safe place. that's where, like, this guy teaches kids. He's a nice guy. He's everything else. Like, oh, wow, he has really dark views about life. Wow, this guy's really into the Bible. But it's just like, first it's like, all right, let me bring you into the kindergarten world. So, yeah, it's a good way to let the crowd be like, oh, he's likable. It's really to let women like you before you say your real opinions, you know.
Now, what I want to ask you, too, is was it ever a bit exaggerated when you would talk about the things that happened at the school, or were those actually pretty much accurate?
Those are live events. I cannot make anything of those up.
Even when the kid was naked?
That was a true story. That happened the first year I was teaching. We went to, actually, it was like a farm, and and we had to catch him. And it was just like his dad didn't show up or everything else. That was like a real story that happened.
What is that like when it's happening? Because you're a teacher, you're supposed to be taking care of the kids, and then it looks bad on you, even if it wasn't your fault.
I mean, everybody understands 5-year-olds are just, they're going to do whatever they want to do. But it's just a fact, like if you're at a live park, there's a lot of people there. And I was like, I split the kids up. And the reason why he wasn't in my group, because I had other parents watching him, and he just ran off. So they didn't know what to do. So they came and got me. So that's when I had to run and go get him. I was like, oh, man, So it was one of those experiences where I was like, man, I shouldn't have said that, but too bad they heard it.
What made you want to become a teacher?
I was in the Netherlands, and I was applying for all these scholarships, and the scholarship that I was getting, a lot of scholarships were teaching scholarships, and nobody was applying for them, and they were giving a lot of money, so I applied for them, and I got all this money to do and to teach, and I thought when I got to college, I was like, look, I'm not going to freaking teach, F that, I'm going to do whatever I want to do, until they're like, no, you're going to do what we paid you to do, and I was like, all right, F it, I got to do it.
What is that first day like when you become a teacher and it's your first 10 minutes of teaching? How nerve-wracking is it? The internship was rough because when I did my internship, one time they put me in a kindergarten class and I just bombed completely. Like it was bad. The kids were running around, everything else. So I was like, F this. I'm never teaching kindergarten. That was like I said, I'm never teaching kindergarten. I'll just stay up with 5th graders. Then when I started teaching 5th grade, I was like, man, I'm tired of arguing with like kids that don't know anything about life. Like sit down. Like I'm not going to talk to you about anything because you're not a man yet. You don't know anything. But I didn't have a beard at the time. I had like a small goatee, but the parents didn't respect me at all because I looked young. So they're just like, this kid doesn't know anything. And it's like trying to talk to a parent about their kid being a liar, but they've been knowing their kid for 11 years, so they're going to believe their kid over you. And then my mentor, the lady I was doing my internship, she got pregnant, and she left the classroom for me. So she set it up for me to come and start teaching and start making it be a full-time salary, and then I left to Orlando. What is that moment like when you get her gig?
No, I didn't. I didn't take it.
Why didn't you take it?
I mean, I met this comedian 4 years ago. His name is Dean Napolitano. He's out in the area, Orlando. And he did a show one time for 2 hours for me and my family and destroyed it. Just freaking killed it. And he was making fun of my family. And he talks to my dad. He goes, what does your other son do? And he goes, Jared, he wants to be a comic. And he goes, what? He goes, tell him to talk to me after the show. After the show, we talk for like 15 minutes. He's giving me pointers. And I'm asking, like, how do you get more than 10 minutes? How do you get that? And he goes, he's telling me advice. Email me. Start emailing. He emails me throughout college and stuff like that and tells me, is where you want to move, da-da-da. And I was like, well, I just got to go to Orlando because that's where all the funny people are. That's where he lives. So I got an internship at Disney, and I was like, man, I don't know about teaching. I just didn't like it. At the time, I was like, nah, I didn't like it. And then I stopped working for Disney, and then I got another job at Disney teaching. They have like a school in the back of Disney, started teaching there. Then I was like, maybe I don't know if I could teach like this so late hours. And next you know it, I met this lady at this job fair, and she goes, you're a teacher? I was like, yeah, because my mom was like, you just got to teach, just teach. I was like, all right. And she's like, I want you to be a surrogate father. And I was like, for you? Like, what do you, like, you want to be a surrogate father? She says, no, for these kids. And I was like, all right. And she says, the only position I have at my school is kindergarten. I was like, all right, never mind, I'm leaving.
You know what I like about you, man, is you're humble in the fact that you know that you need to keep on growing and that you've never ever reached the point where you don't need advice. Like you're always seeking to know more. Yeah,
even the advice that I know is just from the stuff that I know, but that knows there's totally different levels that I'll never experience before and I don't know. So when I'm with the older guys and the older comments, I'm asking them all these questions. They're like, dude, you ask a lot of questions. I was like, because I want to know, man. That's what I thirst for. I thirst for knowledge. It's like if someone's ever been on this boat before and you know how the boat closes up, like why not you going to ask them how the keys of the boat go?
And I think it works out for you because you have the mindset of a guy that's in his mid-30s, but you're like 26 years old, dude. It's crazy.
27, just turned 27. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, you're old.
Man. What I thirst for is knowledge. That's what I do. Because if I feel like if I can seek the knowledge and just find what everybody relates to, and it's like, all right, now you can build a joke from within that. You know what I mean? Because when I start my set, I talk about religion, about God speaking to me now, and that makes people very uncomfortable. Like, religion makes people very uncomfortable. It's a way to just bring people back. Like, all right, we see his views, but at the same time, I understand what he's going through. You know what I mean? So I know you don't believe in stuff like that, but I do. I'm more of a really...
It's not that I don't believe. I just don't find time in it. Like, if I die and there's an afterlife, fine, but I'm not going to spend my time going after something that's not in front of me.
What's not in front of you?
God. Let's not do this right now, dude. I went to Catholic Church for 18 years.
I mean, that's Catholic Church. But I mean, that's what I'm thinking about. Like, when people ask me all the time, like, how are you so comfortable leaving? How are you so comfortable? I was like, once you realize that God controls everything on this planet.
See, now you control it, dude. You've earned this chance to go to New York City. You've earned all the gigs you got at Side Splitters. You earned everything from Cigar City Comedy. It wasn't God. It was Jared Waters.
First of all, Hoppe, let's calm that down with your Antichrist statements. Second
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
Whoa. Can I speak for a minute? Thank you, sir. This
Sure.
is what I'm saying. What you're saying is me that did everything else. I said God gave me the opportunity to do everything else. That's what I'm telling you. What you see is probably me hustling. But for me is I know that God gave me a brain, God gave me this, and God gave me the opportunity to be inside these situations. So for you, it looks like I had worked hard for myself. But for me, in my life, I know that there's a higher being that's controlling all of this here. So that's my faith, you know what I mean? Even though you see it as that way, how I see it is when people ask me, how'd you think of that joke? I was like, I thought of it, but at the same time, I know the man upstairs put something inside my life. That's how I connect with it, you know what I mean? Because people are like, what do you think? I just say, like what the Bible says. It says, from the womb I knew you, and I know what you're going to be. So sometimes I'm just like, I've felt this my whole life, you know what I mean? So you don't believe in it, I get you don't believe it. Shout out to the Catholics, you know what I mean? So they can get your rise and sun. But for me it's just a connection, man. Like, I can't tell you about God is real, but I can tell you the feeling that I have. And I feel in what I know, what he's done for me personally.
See, my version of religion is meditation. There's this lady named Anita Moriani who had a near-death experience, and she has like a 55-minute audiobook where there's this eerie music, and she talks to you about when she had a near-death experience. And it's just really calming. To me, that's my version of prayer, but I don't, like, pray to anything. But what I want to say to you, too, is it was weird. My mom listens to every one of my shows, so she listened to the show we did about 7 months ago when you sat in on Hoppe Hour, and she's like, I like that Jared guy because of you being religious.
Yeah, I mean, I understand how people are turned off by religion. I get that. You know what I mean? I get how some people are just like, they yell at you on the street and everything else, and it turns a lot of people off. But like Jesus, he didn't say build church. He just said go out and spread the gospel. So my gospel might be different than you. You know what I mean? I can connect with other people because I'm not that type of person to be throwing it at you, but I can just show you different ways for it. So I can understand what you're saying, but I'm saying if you say you don't pray to anything, it's like, what happens when you get hurt? What happens when you get sick in the hospital? People are like, hey, Hoppe, I'm going to keep you in my... I mean, good luck with that, man, whatever you're dealing with, you know what I mean?
I just thought it was really, really phony when my dad passed away 2 years ago now, and everybody messages me, I'm praying for you. It's like, are you? Did you just take the time of day to cross your head, Father, Son, Holy Spirit? No, you didn't. It's just a cliche thing to say, you know?
Right. But prayer doesn't take that long. It only takes 2 seconds, you know what I mean? Somebody can just say, I pray for Hoppe. That's a small prayer.
I just see this trend recently where I feel like religion is dying. You know what I mean? I feel like it's becoming less and less of a thing.
Yeah, I mean, some people are turned off by religion, but that's why I make it. People turned off by religion, but that's why I make it my point to talk about it. And I know it makes people very uncomfortable in the crowd, and people get very antsy about it. But they're like, "Wow, this guy can stand for something." And by all means, I'm not the best Christian in the world. I'm probably one of the worst ones. You know what I mean?
So then you're not a Christian.
Yes, you are. The Christian is if you believe in your heart and confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord, that he's died on the cross, that means you're a Christian. Now, everybody sinned. If you look at the 12 disciples, they're all murderers, freaking robbers, and everything else. But it's about your heart, about being pure.
What's the worst sin you've ever committed?
I can't say that on air.
Yeah, you can. It was probably premarital sex, I can assume.
No, it wasn't.
What was it? Come on, say it.
I don't believe in that. I would say this.
Are you actually waiting until marriage?
That's my plan, yeah.
You've actually waited.
That's what, yeah.
So you're a virgin right now.
Yeah, you got it.
No way. You're lying to me. I was like, get the hell out of here. With your muscles and you playing football back in the day, there's no way in hell you've waited.
I don't know if you're like coming on to me right now, but I'm just
no. I'm just saying I appreciate good muscles.
This is what I'm saying to you, Hoppy. Recently I got baptized, and this
I saw that.
Right, and what you're saying is really what a lot of people are talking to me about, and people are just like, "Welcome into the kingdom of heaven. Welcome to this." I was like, "I'm not the freak. I got baptized. I didn't get an easy pass to get into heaven. I still got to walk through this earth and still go through sin like everything else." So some people think it's like, yeah, just because I got baptized, yeah, I had a new level of faith, but at the same time, I still got to walk this faith. I still got to do the right thing and everything. So I get what you're saying, but it's not. Me and my father talked about it, and he goes, "If you die right now, would you go to heaven?" I was like, man, I don't know. I don't know how anybody could be that sure of going. I was like, sometimes I feel like it's a gamble, because it's all like, the Bible says, if you believe in your heart, confess with your mouth, thou art saved, and you'll be saved. And I was like, all right, good. Then it says, liars, cheaters, fornicators will not inherit the kingdom of God. I'm like, what the F? And then it says, I'll have mercy on whomever I have mercy for. So for me, it's a confliction. My religion, I believe in it, but at the same time, I'm still confused too, but I know what I know.
I will say this. I don't believe in God, but I don't say I'm an atheist, because when I think of atheists, I think of people like Bill Maher or Ricky Gervais that need to shove down their propaganda down our throats about how awful Christians are. So I would just say I'm just kind of hanging here.
It's really
doing life.
It's really funny seeing 5-year-olds debate religion.
When have you seen that? Kindergarten?
Yeah, it happens all the time. It's just like, this little girl goes, I dance at my church. I dance for God. And this Indian girl goes, I dance for two. I dance for my God. And she goes, oh, you guys got the same God as me? She goes, no, it is an Indian God. I kid you not. That's exactly what they do. So it's like I got Jehovah's Witnesses in there, and it's amazing seeing 5-year-olds debate religion. And like, Mr. Waters, what about you? I was like, you guys got to just figure it out yourselves, because I can't really promote it like that. But I was just like, hey, you know.
Do you ever kind of like cringe in your seat when you know they're spewing the wrong thing?
I mean, some of them might be homophobic the way they talk, but I know they get it from their parents, you know what I mean?
So
some
they're like anti-gay?
Yeah, some of them would tell me stuff like, 2 guys should not be together, right, Mr. Waters? And I was like, well, you know, whatever you guys think, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you have to kind of keep it clean.
You know what I mean? I can't really say anything, but they're going to figure it out on their own. Whatever their parents put inside you is really what you're going to do. So with my kids, I just try to teach them the right way, lessons about life and how to manipulate through everything.
What were your parents like growing up?
My parents were strict growing up, man. My father is a southern man, grew up in the South. And my mother is she's like a city Southern girl, and we grew up tough. He gave me the life he never had, which was good, taking us all over the world and showing us everything else. But he was a tough man. He would teach me the realities about life, and he would like do things to like break me down. Like everyone had a week to wash the dishes, but I would wash the dishes, and he'd be like, "Oh, you messed up Tuesday. You got another week in the kitchen."
Do you feel like that was unfair, or was he just being a good parent?
At times I thought it was unfair until I realized that's the way in life. And sometimes as hard as you work, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's just like you gotta, all the lessons he taught me and all the spankings I got, sometimes I didn't get it till I realized like, nah, I deserve that. When I started teaching kindergarten, I realized everything he taught me was coming through. Like he taught me stuff like, I was like, man, I've been washing the dishes for like 4 years. I was like, how come I'm only washing the dishes? He goes, what? I was like, yes, sir, never mind.
Isn't it weird how when you grow up, you then appreciate what your dad said, because you'll just think he's being a hard ass, but he has good intentions?
Yeah, I mean, he was tough. He was tough, but fair. You know what I mean? Because I understood, as I got older, I understand he gave me a life that nobody can ever, you know what I mean? No one can ever say they've lived in Japan. They've lived in freaking there, who told you he took you to Morocco, to Marrakesh for Christmas, all the stuff that my father and my mother provided. I was like, I just realized how blessed I am. As I get older, I realize when I tell all the kids, like, no, honor your parents. Your parents are trying to do something that they never had for you. You know what I mean? So he was tough, and we had a lot of fun, but at the same time, he instructed, like, values and stuff. And there's times where, like, we didn't want to go to church all the time. I was telling my mom, I was like, man, we don't freaking go to church all the time, man. But then when I started depending, I was like, all right, now I got it. You know what I mean?
Now, let's say I were to go to church. What is the key to focusing? Because with my ADHD and my hyper personalities, I can't imagine sitting there, you know?
You don't have to sit. Sometimes you can stand.
No.
Other people are standing. Other people sitting unless you're going.
Dude, it's just boring. I want to, like, watch SportsCenter or something. I don't want to be there.
I don't think you ever. If you come to a church with me, well, I'm leaving. But if we ever come back, we'll go to church one Sunday. That's what we'll make a deal. One Sunday, and if you enjoy yourself, you enjoy yourself. That's the deal.
What religion do you go under? Which type of Christianity?
I'm non-denomination.
What does that mean?
Non-denomination is like we really don't have like a set order. Like Methodists have like a different thing. Non-denomination is pretty much we believe in the evidence of God's supernatural power and like speaking in tongues and stuff like that. That's what I believe in.
Are there priests in that religion, people that just marry themselves to God and claim they don't have sex?
No, everyone's a pastor. Most of all the ministers I've met have wives.
Because I find priests to be very creepy and liars. There's no way you're going through life with all the hormones that you have and you're not having sexual intentions. And I'm not even saying just the kid part, just overall, the whole idea that you're not with a woman or even a man creeps me out.
Well, Jesus went on this earth 33 years without touching a woman. Now, even though he was a God on earth, I don't know how he did it. Be honest, some of the stuff, I'm just like, I don't know how he walked on this earth 33 years and not had these impure thoughts. You know what I mean? But that's the thing. That's why I say religion's so hard. When we're all striving to be like Jesus, I'm just like, look, man, Jesus was around Mary Magdalene, and, she was a prostitute, so how come I can't hang out with prostitutes
Yeah, she gave
anymore?
out good mouth hugs.
Well, you know what? Well, it was like this. They said this is how they, like, when they discovered Mary Magdalene, they said they caught her in adultery. You don't catch anybody in adultery unless you were with her in adultery. So it's proven that the disciples had her first, and then they, turned her over.
Tag team.
Whatever they did to her, you know what I mean? Whatever they freaking did. But, I mean, this is about the biblical stories and everything else. But I think some Catholic priests are like that. But all the ministers I know, they have wives. Straight up wives, man.
What would Jesus think of your live comedy?
I would sum up my stand-up is my stand-up is pretty much this: is a man struggling to maintain his face but have like a view to make you see it. That's all my stand-up is. It's the beginning, showing a man that he's trying to maintain his face, but this is where he falls and this is where he sees points. Because I used to argue the Bible a lot to people until I realized, me and my roommate in Orlando, he was just a flamboyant gay dude, and all the time arguments I met, he goes, "You can't argue the Bible with me because I don't believe in it."
Why would you argue the Bible with a gay man? It's not a good point.
No, it is a good point because he grew up in a church. He was arguing the Bible.
Exactly. He's not going to want to do it.
First of all, you need to calm down and listen to the story. You're not making sense right now.
All
right, listen to this. He grew up in the Bible, right? He grew up in the Bible Belt and everything else, and he's trying to explain the biblical tense, and we started talking about it, and then he goes, "I don't believe in the Bible anymore." I was like, "But it's a part of you." You know what I mean? You grew up in radio, right? You're a Radiohead, right?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, if you stop doing radio, you're not telling me you not have the radio voice inside of you. You don't have all these radio things that you've been instilled inside of you.
No, but that's different. That's because I put that in myself. That's because I wanted to go into radio. There was never a point that I wanted to go to church.
First of all, Hoppe, you're not going to out-talk me out here. And you're not going to yell at me on this podcast.
What are you going to do, kick my ass?
First of all, I'm going to lay the smack down. You see the WWE Championship belt sitting right on the thing. 2-time wrestling champ, okay? 2-time. But Hoppe is like this. Look, if you're a baby, think about it. If you're a baby, right? Think about all these people, all these babies that grew up as wrestlers' childs. It's inside their blood. Ric Flair's daughter, the only thing she knows is wrestling because she's been around it, right? So this dude told me since he was a baby, this were roommates. He goes, "I've read the Bible, everything else," and he still goes to church, everything else. He goes, "I just don't like it." That's what the argument was.
Well, that's different. If he's going to church and he's continuing to religion, that's different. I haven't gone in 5 years.
This isn't about you, right? This is about the roommate. This is the story. That's what I'm saying. You keep making it about Hoppe. It's about my gay roommate. So we're arguing, and he goes, "You can't use the Bible as a source because people don't believe in the Bible." And that's when my stand-up changed. I was like, you make a good point. So now I got to look at different things. I got to think about science. I got to think about how other people views everything else. I got to think about. So I get the biblical point. That's my point of view. But I got to see the other point of view and find somewhere in the middle where people feel comfortable with it. So that's my stand-up. It's these views, and I'm bringing it to the left so you can see different sides of the fence. So even if you don't want to agree with the Christianic view because it's too hard for you, and if you don't want to agree with this middle view, you can be like, wow, I see his point of view.
What about religion and their take on gay rights?
Religion is the cake on gay rights. I mean, God says to love everybody. You know what I mean? I think that everybody should be treated equal. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. You know what I mean? And I would say marriage isn't what marriage was in the Bible anymore. Marriage is really about contracts. It's about people taking care of insurance and stuff like that. That's really what it's about. They don't really care about being with the rest of your life. If I didn't have to marry you and so I could give you insurance, I'd give you insurance. So marriage is completely different now from where it used to be. It used to be a holy matrimony.
Do you think marriage is going downhill where it's becoming less and less of an important thing in life?
Yeah, because people are living together, man. If you're living together, why do I got to marry you?
It's a good point. And then
The
you
freak
don't have to
do I
go
gotta-
through divorce,
There you go. Like, why-
alimony.
Right. But I know when I get married, I'm only going to get married one time. That's it.
You sure about that, though?
Promise.
You're saying it now.
One time. That's all I'm going to do.
What if you're in the marriage, the first 5 years are great, but then the first day after the 5 years, it just turns awful? You're just going to spend your whole life unhappy?
It wouldn't be that way. A woman should be happy she's with me.
What do you bring to the table that's so great, Jared Waters?
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
I'm the one from Krypton. The last true warrior of the Dragon Ball Z era. What are you talking about? What do I bring? I bring happiness, hope, peace, prosperity.
I love how when I ask you about how great you are, you have to compare yourself to Goku like a nerd.
I don't know if you were disrespecting me in front of your fans or you were respecting that Goku is a legend.
It's the most overrated
Right.
cartoon ever. I hate
Right.
Dragon Ball Z.
But then again, Hoppy, what don't you hate?
That's a good point.
Right.
Everybody thinks I'm just this unhappy curmudgeon that
You
hates
are.
on things. No,
You
I'm
are.
not.
You're a hater. That's what you are. You're a hater. If you don't like Dragon Ball Z and the Chappelle Show, you're a hater.
It's not that I don't like the Chappelle
Whoa.
Show. I just think it's a little overrated.
You're a hater. That's what that's called. If you look at hater and you see 7-foot haters, your face will pop up and I'll be Ryan Hoppe, the giant hater. But it's okay. I still have love for you.
Do you? I can't tell at times. Sometimes it's really tough love.
It's tough
but I
love.
respect
That's all
it.
I can give to anybody else because I really feel like iron sharpens iron. If you're not a part of iron, it's going to hurt you for a while.
Have you ever had fights, though, because you're so honest that it throws people off?
F yeah. F yeah. Football practice. My best friend, Sasha Miller, we're sitting at football practice, and we're supposed to do hitting drills, and he gets up and hits somebody. And I was like, look, if you're going to hit like a platypus, get the F off the field.
Where did you get that word platypus from?
I mean, it's just, I think it's Perry the Platter. I don't know, it's just platter. I don't know. I don't like saying, I don't curse at all. So it's just like platypus. And I know I was watching, me and my kids, we had this thing called Fairy Tale Unit, where we had to teach the kids about fairy tales, and they had Jack and the Beanstalk. And my grandfather and grandmother back in the day, they recorded Abbott and Costello's Jack and the Beanstalk. And me and my brother would always watch it, and I was like, this doesn't have any cursing, it should be good. And I let the kids watch it till I realized that Abbott and Costello had like undertones inside there because one dude's name was Jack and the other dude's name was Mr. Dinklepuss. I'm not even joking, Dinklepuss. So all these kindergartners were saying, what's his name? I was like, his name is Mr. Octopus or he's a platypus. And they're like, no, it's Mr. Dinklepuss. So
How uncomfortable were you when they said that?
I was just laughing. I was just because the movie it didn't have any. It was a G movie, but I was like, why are they? I didn't realize his name was Dinklepuss because he kept saying throughout the movie, Mr. Dinklepuss. So all these 5-year-olds, like, you're a Dinklepuss, Mr. Waters. I was like, all right, let's just. He said platypus, and then we just said it because Perry the Platypus was big. When I started doing it, I was like, yeah, you're a little Perry the Platypus.
I like that, man. What else I like about you is when you had the graduation for the kindergarten,
Oh, yeah.
one of your kids sang Sugar Hill Gang. How did that go down? That was legendary.
What I tell my kids every year that we pay homage to the forefathers of rap every year.
Who are the forefathers?
First, we pay homage to Sugar Hill. Sugar Hill started this rap game. We pay homage
Rapper's
to
Delight.
Rapper's Delight. They learn about G Unit when they learn how to count money. So 2 quarters makes 50 cents. G Unit. That's what we learn in the classroom. So everything else, I just realize a lot of people are like, especially little kids, they learn through music, but at the same time, it's concrete evidence. So we would learn how to how the C sound. The C sound has a hard C and a soft C. So it's very strange. You're telling them, then you're just like, sss. They're like, what? Well, you just told us the C sounds like this. So we just take rules. We'd be like, no E, no I, no Y makes Ice Cube. And I was like, Ice Cube, we have a lesson about Ice Cube and else about Ice Key. It's like, Ice T's soft. See, he has a family. See, he got Coco. Ice Cube, he's hard.
Is he hard, though? He's made like 9 Are We There Yet, so.
But he did NWA. So ice cube is a tough one. And we took some ice cubes. I brought ice cubes in the classroom. I was like, feel the ice cubes. They're hard, right?
Yeah.
Now put your hand in iced tea. So we did that. So we realized every time you see the soft C, it's a S sound. So when you don't see an E, when you don't see an I, when you don't see a Y next to the C, it's the ice cube sound. Then when you do see those E, I, and Y, it's ice T sound.
What did the teachers think of this lesson? Were they cool with it?
I mean, the thing about a charter school, it's a free range, you know what I mean? It's just like I teach the way I want to teach. I just have to make sure I get the points. So my thing is like, sometimes people don't get me being tough, you know what I mean? So I have to find different angles to reach different kids, you know what I mean? So some of them don't get that, but some of them have to be like, all right, feel it. What does that feel like? That's iced tea. It's so soft. I was like, that's what a C sounds like. Or I'll just break it down. I just find different ways to get to people.
How do you come up with these lesson plans? Because they're very unique.
Be honest, sometimes my first year teaching, the school was closing down and they had no resources. No resources at all. So I had to make up everything on my own. So I had what I needed to know. So I was like, I'm just going to go to first grade and find out what they need to learn in first grade and teach it to kindergarten. So I did. So everything we did, we started a grade ahead, and I was like, we're just going to learn different ways to do it. So everyone, especially right now, everyone struggles with place value, like carrying the one and everything else. So my kids are struggling with it, and I was like, all right, I got to think of a way. Why do they carry the one? Because they're like, what, tens, nines, hundreds, what,
Yeah.
why? And I was like, all right, everyone line up. So we went outside, and I had everyone line up as friends. And I was like, are you guys still friends? They go, yeah. And I separated them apart. I was like, are you guys still friends? Yeah, we're still friends. Why do you keep asking me? So I sent one all the way to the end of the playground. I was like, are you guys still friends? She goes, yeah, we're still friends. I was like, sometimes friends move away, but they're still friends. I said, 16 is still 16. It's just one goes to the other side.
I like that.
I was like, one always goes. So it's still the number 16. It's just one's over there. And then you do triple digit math. So I taught them that way, and then all of them, they just start getting it real fast. And I was like, all right, I want you guys to teach it to someone else. So when they started teaching it, and then all the first grade teachers like, hey, how do your kids doing double-digit math and everything else?
Yeah.
And I was just like, why not?
What are parent-teacher conferences like?
The first parent-teacher conference is, I make a lot of the parents cry. It depends. Like if your kid's doing really, really well, some of them are crying about their success, and other ones cry because I tell them, I was like, kindergarten, the first weeks of kindergarten is a reflection of what you do as a parent.
Yeah.
So if your kid's doing bad, it reflects on what you did as a parent. And a lot of parents aren't used to that. Because my principal goes, Waters, what's happening? It's like all these people are crying coming out. I was like, I got to tell them the realities about life. I said, look, this is not on me. I said, what I can do is, madam. I said, we can be World War II. I said, I can be America, and we can go at Germany this way, or you could be the Russians, and we could corner them in.
Did you ever get any complaints, though, for being a douche?
I've never been a douche. I've never been like that.
But they might see it as that.
They've never. There's the only thing the parents can say is that he's tough. He's tough because I grew up tough, so I don't believe in weakness. I don't believe in making excuses. I don't believe in doing everything else. You either do it or you don't do it.
And I think that shows that parents are their kids' best friends, and you get trophies for coming in 7th place in the soccer tournament. It's just the pussification of America.
This is exactly what we do, right? The first week of kindergarten, we have this thing called warm fuzzies. You have to get 15 warm fuzzies to make it to the treasure box. You can either put it in the treasure box and you can get a personal gift, or you can put it in a jar, and when the jar gets filled up, the whole class gets a prize. So it works on students' selfishness, and it helps them become a team. It's like, do you want to be selfish right now? Or do you want to grow a goal for everybody else? So some of the kids in the beginning, they're very selfish. They're like, I want to go to the treasure box. And some kids make that point where they're like, I don't think everybody's going to make it. So why don't we all together just put it inside the box? And it takes one leader, you'll find. Then the other ones will start leading. So it's just like, it's like SeaWorld. In SeaWorld, they don't break in the whales. The other whales in the tank break the new ones in. So I train a couple of them, and they break other ones in, and I do it like that. So they're all turned out to be tough. So they'll all do like that, and then eventually, like the first week of school, some kids didn't make it to the treasure box, and they're breaking down crying. And the mom's like, oh, my God, my girl didn't get to the treasure box. What, can you just make it some way? I was like, she didn't make it, madam.
I like that.
What do you mean she didn't make it? I said, she didn't get enough warm fuzzies today, so she didn't make it to the treasure box. Maybe next week she can save hers and make it there.
Wow.
That's the
I love your
first week.
tough love.
That's
You're going to be a good dad.
The first week of school is like that. The first week of school, when the parents come in, they're crying, and I was like, all right, it's time for you guys to go. I was like, there is a boohoo breakfast in the cafeteria. I'm not even joking. For all the parents that want to cry, there's a boohoo breakfast down there. I shut the door and we started, and I let them know when they come volunteer. I was like, don't open any of the food up for the children. They'll open it up themselves. And they'll find a way to open it. I was like, if you're hungry, you'll find a way to open up this milk carton.
Now, after all of this, do the teachers and kids then like you after a bit because they get to know you being a hard ass, or do some just not like what you do?
You can always know. You can always let up. You can't put the pressure on. If you start out tough, you can ease up. Like, we have a lot of fun in my class. You see, we have a lot of fun. We do a lot of stuff, but you have to establish, this is my classroom. This is not what we're going to do, and this is my thing. We can have organized fun, but we're not going to just be crazy and be wild and stuff like that. And you have to, because you're teaching. Kindergarten isn't like kindergarten anymore. It's like really second grade, beginning of third grade.
Really?
They got to write paragraphs. They have to do a lot of stuff. So it's just like, I don't even call it being tough. It's just having good classroom management. So if you have good classroom management, if you know how to manage something, then they can do it. So it may look wild to everyone else, but when I'm like, all right, let's get together, like, okay, it's time to do it.
Now, since you are planning on moving, do you plan on being a teacher up in New York City?
Yeah, I'll teach up there, but it's they want to meet you face to face. You know what I mean? They're not really good at doing things online and stuff like that.
Especially when you have to keep the kids safe and make sure that it's not a weirdo. That makes sense.
Right. So they just got to go up there, fill me out. But I mean, like with my classroom, it's crazy how tough these kids are. I mean, it's just like you could see someone fall down, and I won't say anything. I'll just fall back and just wait and see what happens. And another kid like, get up, man. You're a man. Come on, get up. You're all right. Pick yourself up.
Yeah.
Let's go. But sometimes you need that. Like, especially in comedy, you need people. And sometimes you won't realize it. But sometimes it'll be like someone you least expected that'll push you to the next level. Like when I got out here, like I was hitting the mics, but I wasn't hitting it as hard because I was figuring things out. And my girlfriend called me, and she asked me, she goes, do you still do stand-up? I was like, who the F are you talking to? Like, why the F would you say something to me like that? She goes, I don't know. Maybe you quit, or maybe you want to do something else.
What is it like with you and your girlfriend? Is everything good? Are you guys in paradise?
Yeah, being with me is paradise. I mean, she's a tough cookie. You know what I mean? And I'm tough as well. So it's just like iron sharpens iron. There's times where like every time I finish a set, I'll send it to her, and she'll tell me like that wasn't good at all. I was like, you don't get the joke? I don't get the joke. I was like, well, maybe you're from a third world country. That's why you're not going to get the joke. She's like, I just don't get it. I was like, here, let me break it down to you. Oh, okay, now I get it. Or one time I had her, she told me a joke. She told someone one of my jokes, and they were busting out laughing. I said, do you take my material and do it at the job?
What did she say?
She said no. She said she didn't want to do stand-up.
No, she does. You know,
No,
she's
no,
Dane
she-
Cook or Mencia. She's taking your joke. She's a hack.
She'll know. That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful to me and my loins. She would. She's a very beautiful person, and that's the thing I love about her is that she's just made of that cloth,
Oh,
man.
you used the word love.
Yeah, I'm not ashamed of that. Yeah.
When was the moment when you knew you loved her?
Be honest with you, young Hoppe. I already knew I was going to get a third world country chick. That's what I was scoping out the whole time. That's what I had my meter on. But when I got fired, I didn't get fired. I got suspended at Disney. They put me in Disney jail.
What'd you do?
You have to do. I was like on a boat, tying a boat.
Yeah.
And one time I tied it, and it wasn't tight, so the boat starts slowly drifting away. But if you don't know anything about boats, you just think the boat's really rocky.
Yeah.
So some dude snitched on me and told the manager and everything else. And like the number one keys at Disney: safety, courtesy, show, and efficiency. So they're like, because I came in Monday and they're like, you want to tell us what happened last Friday on the boat? And I thought it was because some girl was talking about like bra sizes, and I was like, it's sexual harassment. I'm out of here. This is it for me. I'm done. I was like, I didn't even take part of this conversation. And he goes, I was two dudes and a girl talking. I was just laughing and making jokes about the whole thing. But I was like, if she freaking told, I'm done. I'm out of here. Because I was sitting there. Then all of a sudden, they're like, no, tell us about the boats. I was like, oh, we had a problem. I forgot to tie it up tight, but that's all right. Nothing happened. And he goes, well, that's a big problem here, and we're going to have to suspend you, and we're going to have to send you to Disney jail, and you have to go to court, and you have to present your case and everything else. And since it's a competitive company, they want everybody to snitch on each other. But that's not what I'm made of. I was just like, look, I don't know what everyone else does, but as me, I'm a man. I made a mistake. I take responsibility for my mistakes. I said, but this company's built off mistakes. Walt made several mistakes. When he opened Disney World, there's freaking semen all over the ground that wasn't dry. He goes,
Really?
yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, the openings of Disney World, the toilets weren't working, everything.
But go back to the semen thing. Were there like orgies?
Cement.
Oh, I thought you said semen. I was like,
Come on, man. This is a family show.
I was like, whoa, is he having like orgies or what?
Fast forward, so pretty much it was really a blessing in disguise because I worked at freaking from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the morning because old people didn't want to work at night. They only want to work in the day. So at the end when the park closed, that's where I was and everything else. So they sent me to Cosmic Rays, the busiest restaurant in the world. It's the number 2 best restaurant in the world. But the reason why I liked it because all the women worked there. So it's all these beautiful Haitians,
Tourists.
Dominicans, and I mean, my lady worked in the back, so that's when I met her. And I saw her, and I was like, hey, are you from Belize? And she goes, yeah. I was like, I know some people in Belize. She goes, what part? And I was making up parts. It was like the southern part of Belize. She goes, oh, yeah. And I was like, well, look, I'll get at you later. And then we went to like this, I guess it's like a Spanish, they had like this welcoming Spanish thing. And she was with all these beautiful girls, and she walked in, she's like, hey, how you doing? And I was like, para en el nombre del amor antes que ropa mi corazón. So all the Spanish girls knew what I was saying, and she just bust out laughing. I was like, who taught you that? I was like, it's pretty good. So that in Spanish means stop in the name of love before you break my heart. So I was just saying that in Spanish.
Oh, you're so cute.
Nah, I mean, I was talking to her friends because her friends were the bad ones. She was bad too, but it was like a whole bunch of girls. And I was like, F it. Because Disney, if you don't know about Disney, it's just like the baddest women from each country come to Kissimmee and work there for 7 months. I'm talking about the baddest chicks from each planet. So when guys in Orlando say they don't have girlfriends, there's something wrong with them, or I don't know what's going on with them. Because there's nothing but the baddest girls from the planet that work there. So we get there, and she's like, introduce her friends. Are like, hey, who's that guy that you were talking to? Like, let me introduce him. So she went to tap my shoulder for them, and I was like, nope, I'll talk to you. And then we were talking, and I asked her for a phone number, and she's like, why? And I was like, never mind, I don't want it anymore. And then I walked off.
Damn.
And
How
then,
did you end up getting with her?
I mean, we went to the job. We went back to the job. She goes, hey, we're all hanging out at the party. She goes, I mean, we have mutual friends. She said, we're hanging out at the party. Would you like to go? I was like, yeah. And she goes, well, just hit me up. I was like, I don't have your phone number. She's like, here. I was like, I don't want it. You find mine.
So she had to earn it? She had to find it?
She found it. She found it through somebody else. I was walking, a random number popped up and was like, got you, domino, blackjack.
That seems like the key. That's how I've had any success with women is you have to make them work for it in a way.
Let me tell you something, man.
What?
Women are the only people that don't do the things as the wild. If you look like every other animal, Nala got Simba. He didn't go after her.
Yeah.
He was out there having his thing. She had to come out and show Simba. That's how it is. A snake puts out a scent to let the other snakes know, hey, I'm ready for you to come get me.
So basically you have to make them work for it.
First of all, no, you just have to put them in situations. I worked for her. I just had to put her in situations and let her know this is the situation. You have to make it seem like you're approaching it so you feel uncomfortable. Because I'm comfortable in this situation. So pretty much hang out. We went on a first date. We were seeing the Avengers. Then after that, I took her to Hollywood Studios.
Nice.
Right. So
Did you guys make a movie in there? Get it?
No, I don't get it. What are you talking about? Like a film? Or are you talking about like an old silent film? Are you talking about like a chopping up a DVD or making a Final Cut Pro? Or are you
Horrible joke, making a porno.
Shout out to Hoppy. He'll be at the open mic trying out his hacky jokes at James Joyce. If you want to check out Hoppy's hacky jokes, come to James Joyce. We're taking them to hack court.
I am a hack.
But I mean, that's what I mean. Like, at the beginning, I mean, it was like that, and then we started dating and everything else, and then she met my family, I met hers, and it's been 4 years.
So now, what is your ultimate goal? Moving to New York, you're going to be there with your girl, right?
No, I'm going by myself.
You are?
Yeah.
Damn. Is that going to hurt the relationship?
Nah, man, absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Is she planning on moving up there?
I mean, she's a businesswoman, man. She like works and does everything.
So how's
else.
the relationship going to work if it's going to be a long-term one?
Like I said, absence makes the heart grow fonder. My thing is, I'm the type of dude, I would never hold a woman back from what she's supposed to be. Like this. So like, it don't matter how much you love me. If you want to accomplish something in your life, you got to do it. Don't ever put your life on hold for any man. I know so many women that are just like, I could have did this, but I got married. I could have did this, but I had a baby. I was about to go to grad school, but I had a baby. Or I got married. I'm just like, no, accomplish what you want to accomplish. Two people have to become one when you get married.
Sounds
Not
horrible.
a half of a person. It sounds horrible.
Yeah.
You don't know women, my friend.
I really don't.
A real man, right, has no problem letting a woman become great.
No, it's just the whole thing of how it could turn negative in a second.
That's you speak negative, man. I don't. If you got that love and you got that trust, there's nothing like that at all, man.
Man, So you're moving up there by yourself, and she's hanging out down here. Do you know how long she's going to hang out down here?
She's not hanging. She's doing internship. She's going to be working in some new company. I can't announce it now, but she's going to be got a promotion on her job, and she's going to be doing something else. So my thing is accomplish your dreams. Don't put your dreams on hold for mine, ever.
What is your dream?
My dream, I can't announce it on the air because people steal dreams. But what I go to accomplish, I go to be a full-time comic, full-time stand-up comedian.
Would you want to be one that goes on tours
Yeah.
and is like the next Jim Florentine, guys like that, where you're based out of New York City, and even though you're out of Tampa, you kind of become one that people know of from the city?
I'd be respected. I'd be a respected comic, and to respected comic and spread my message and be the next Jared Waters. You know what I mean? Because I don't know anyone that's... Some people say they like me, but I've never heard anybody with this voice, with this performance. I try to just be me. You know what I mean? I'm a unique person, and I don't know. Maybe somebody sounds like me. I haven't met him yet, but, I mean, that's...
We all have a different sound. Unless you're a hack that copies somebody, we're all unique.
And I have my unique voice. I have my opinions about life and everything else. But I wouldn't mind, being a full-time comic. I wouldn't mind having like a kindergarten TV show about like preparing people for kindergarten. That's the hardest thing, like a little cartoon, like Mr. Waters' class. You know what I mean?
Would this be a kid show?
Yeah, it'd be a kid show.
I wasn't sure if you meant like a edgy Adult Swim show.
That would probably be a show at the end. Have a show in the morning and then have a show at night of like Mr. Waters, everything else, doing stand-up and everything else.
I definitely see big things coming for you, and I'm not just saying that because you're right in front of me. I'm saying it because you're an honest guy, you're very humble, and the unique voice you bring, which comes from you being a guy that wants to learn things all the time, will take you far, bro.
I'm going to give you 2 quotes, and then we can do whatever we want. Do we still got time? Are we good on time?
We can do whatever the hell we want.
All right.
Wait, let's take a quick commercial break. Oh,
all
wait,
right.
it's a podcast.
We're sponsored by Jiffy Lube and Goodyear's Tires. Mom's Mabley Cornbread. It's like this. I don't know if you read this story, but Michael Jackson's dad, he's about to die. I don't know. I'm not saying he's going to die soon, but he's like really, really sick right now. And they've been interviewing him, and people have been taking these interviews. And one of these interviews asked him, he goes, can you tell us who had the best voice in your family? Who was the greatest singer? And everyone got pissed at this guy. It's like, why is this guy asking Joe Jackson this stupid question? We know who's the best. We already know everything else. Why is this guy asking a stupid question? Joe stands up, and he looks at the guy, and he says, the greatest singer in my family out of all my children, he said, was Jermaine Jackson. He said, Jermaine had the best voice. Jermaine had the power vocals. He said, but listen like this. He said, but Michael outworked Jermaine.
It is hard work beats talent talent doesn't work hard.
Right, but think about that. Because Jermaine had the strongest voice. He said, but Michael outworked him. He said, Michael wanted to be inside the studio. Michael wanted to do anything. He said, out of all my kids, he said, Michael was the one that worked the hardest. So my thing is like when you get on the radio, when you do your podcast, you just can't let nobody outwork you. When you're freaking tired and you think, oh, man, I'm really tired now. He's like, who else is tired right now fighting for?
Yeah, and I see it too as whenever I'm, let's say, burnt out or tired, I think about I could be in a third world country or I could be broke or I couldn't have the dream job I have and to keep grinding. No, that's how I view it. Whenever I feel bad for myself, I go...
What are you thinking of poor people makes you feel better? That makes you feel better? I'm talking when you think about people growing. My thing is like this. One time I was happy. I did an hour and 10 minutes somewhere. And then
an hour and 10 minutes?
Hour and 10 minutes in Arcadia, right? And I'm happy about that, right? I think I did more time like that. So all of a sudden, me and JB are talking at Side Splitters, and JB goes, I put 2 hours on him last night. And I was like, what? And he goes, I still could have did more. That's motivating right there. That's motivating knowing that I know someone's out there working harder than me. I know
was
someone
very
working.
proud of him for going up to the Just for Laughs in Montreal.
It's motivating. And I'm saying like Cam, I'll hit up Cam. Cam's like, I just did 45 last night, or I did an hour. I said, me too. Or I hit up Rio. Rio's like, I did 90 minutes last night. It's good seeing people that you know work hard. So you know, like, I need to work hard. So it's never getting comfortable being comfortable where you are. You know what I mean?
It's never, ever good to be in a comfort zone.
Yeah, I'm never comfortable. I'm not comfortable about this move happening now, but I know it has to happen.
Are you comfortable right now?
No, I'm never comfortable at all. I'm not comfortable. I'm comfortable in my own skin, meaning that I'm really comfortable in my skin, but I'm not comfortable where I'm at. In comedy, I know I could be better. I know I could be smarter. I know I can do that. But sometimes I think it's to be a motivation. Maybe Bobby Kelly told me this. He goes, your story, kid, might not be like everyone else's story. He goes, I know I'm not Louis. I'm cool with being Bobby.
I like that.
And he goes, you got to be cool. You got to know some things aren't for you. So my thing is, when I was like that, when other people were getting work, I was like, oh, man, freaking, like Amanda, Rio, Cam, those pretty much my class. Jonas, really pretty much class. Rajel, our class. And when everyone started getting work, I was like, I didn't get the freaking week. Amanda got it. But I was like, I'm not going to hate because I'm happy that she got it. You know what I mean? I'm happy because she used to be with me waiting at the end of the line at the open mics to get inside there. So now I'm happy when Cam gets stuff. I'm happy when Rio gets stuff. I'm happy when everyone else gets stuff.
There's no point to be jealous.
Right, but it's a good thing to you could not jealousy, but you could just be like, yeah, you know what I mean? You want to be better. Yeah, you want to be better and stuff. And I said sometimes it's to be a motivation. I was telling my I wrote my resignation letter. And some of my teachers think that I did it. And one of my biggest motivations was I was reading a story about David and Goliath. Are you aware of that? Do you know who David and Goliath is?
Yes, it's when the underdog wins.
Do you know the story of David and Goliath? Have you heard of that in your culture and your
not in
non-God
10, 20
believing?
Years. I grew up in religion. I know that
listen,
David beats Goliath. He's the underdog. No one believes in him.
So let me ask you a question, right? David knew he was going to beat Goliath, right?
I would assume so, yeah.
He knew that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he brought 5 stones to the fight. Are you aware of that?
Yes, vaguely. Go on.
Listen, right? If he knew he was going to kill him with 1, why did he bring 5?
For backup.
No. If he knew he was going to kill him 1, think about this, Hoppy.
Because he wanted to fool him.
No, listen. Take it serious. Look at me. If he knew he was going to kill him with 1, why did he bring 5?
I don't know.
Right? The reason why he brought 5, because after he killed Goliath, he was prepared to kill every other giant in the land because there are more giants out there. The thing about it was after he killed Goliath, he didn't have to kill anymore because everybody got inspired by what he did and started slaying giants. So maybe this is my giant in my life. Maybe, this might be this. But if I inspire somebody else to slay a giant, that'd be dope. You know what I mean? So maybe that this person of Goliath might like be this, but it's like, oh man, I saw what Jared did. That's freaking motivating. Now I gotta slay the giant in my life. So everyone has a giant that they face. Everyone has a Goliath that you do. So maybe after you slay Goliath, it might not work out for you, but you can be a motivation.
What is your ultimate plan? What would you be proud of when you would say it worked out for you?
Comic goals or regular life, I'll be good when my kids say about me, when they ask them, what do you want to say? And then my kids would say that my father, well, I don't have kids now. I'm just saying it's like my father.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. My father was a man of God, and he took care of us, and he spread the message. That's my message. And what other comics say of me is they're just going to say, Jerry had the bars. And he always brought the bars.
It's a very good point, man.
But you know what I mean? Sometimes it's just like, I don't like talking about myself because I'm just like.
Because you're boring.
No, I'm not boring. I'm an amazing person. You're boring without this podcast.
I am.
You're a boring giant. But I'll say it's like this.
Oh,
it's
thank
like,
you.
They know you by the fruits that you bear. Meaning that I don't have to tell you about the fruit because people know what the fruit I'm bringing to the table.
Yeah.
They know you that the juice that you got and stuff like that. So when it's all said and done, I just pray that, I make something out of myself. I pray that, my family is proud of me. I pray like everybody else is proud of me, and I do the genre good.
Now, where can people find your work online since you're leaving Tampa and they won't be able to see you at James Joyce, the open mic, and the other ones that are in this area?
I'll be back, though. I'll be back. Not to stay, but I'll be back for gigs. You can find me on Facebook, Waters Jarrett. You can find me on Twitter, Dutch Blackfoot, Instagram, Dutch Blackfoot, website, DutchBlackfoot.com. You can find me. Snapchat, Dutch Blackfoot. Yeah, shout out to you. Follow my Snapchats. Happy, I appreciate that. I appreciate all the love. You can catch me at the Laughing Skull this Thursday in Atlanta, Georgia. I'll be there.
So are you driving up?
Yeah, driving up to New York.
It's going to be a long drive.
I'm going to be stopping. I'm going to stop in Atlanta, see some family, stop in North Carolina, go to a wedding, then go to D.C., then stop in Philly, and stop there. Are you
going to see Joe Riga in Philadelphia?
I'll see. I mean, I just texted Joe today, so I'll see what he's up to, see if he's going. So I'm going to see if it's quicker for me to go that way or just go straight to New York. I think it's New York from D.C. I think D.C. is straight.
Yeah.
Instead of going. So I probably won't go to Philadelphia. I'll be out of the way. So I think let's go this and then go to New York then. And then it's just starting all over again, man. Building the rocks back up, laying down the foundation, man, and God willing, things will happen.
It will happen. You don't need to rely on God because you're a humble guy.
First of all,
you're a good guy. You're very talented.
Ryan Hoppe, we will not speak negatively of God on this podcast. You do need God.
I was complimenting you. I was giving you a compliment.
You weren't giving me.
Bring it back to God. Whatever.
Because you just said it's about you. That's what I'm saying. You don't think that, but I need God. That's what I'm saying. I need the man upstairs.
Yeah.
And I ain't talking about the man upstairs from 227. Do you know what that is?
Mike Jones?
227?
No.
It's an old black sitcom.
I'm not black, so I wouldn't know.
Could have fooled me. You could have fooled me. But like everyone at my school, they were very supportive about it. It was really sad seeing. A principal was sad. A lot of people were sad about it, and you know what I mean.
Did they cry?
Some of them did cry. I'm not gonna lie. Some of them came up to me and cried and stuff like that.
We're gonna miss you.
The kids are really gonna take it. They're gonna. This Monday they're doing today. Well, Wednesday when they start school, they're gonna realize I'm not gonna be there, and I think that might hit them.
Oh, they're gonna miss you so much.
Yeah, but what I did was every year before, at the end of the year, when the kids graduate kindergarten, I write them letters that they have to open in 15 years when they turn 18, or when they graduate high school.
Do you really think they're gonna do that?
Yeah, they're gonna do it. Why wouldn't they do it?
That's true.
Imagine you being. Do you remember what you were like at 5?
Yeah.
No, you don't. What were you like in kindergarten?
Well, I mean, I was looking back at my old radio show from 4 years ago, and I was really, really, really nervous and really hyper and really awkward, so I can just imagine what I was like in...
You can't imagine because sometimes we just can't recall what we were in kindergarten. So imagine somebody writing a detailed story about what you were like at 5 and telling you what you dreamed about at 5, what your goals were at 5, and like that's what I write. So I write, this is write about what they're in the classroom, this is what you dreamed about, what you said at 5, what you wanted to be, and I was like, if this is still true, keep pushing. And I was giving them a motivational letter when they graduate high school.
You should write me a letter.
And I give them a picture of me and them when they were 5. So when they open up high school and they graduate, they look at it. So it's like a time capsule a little bit. So I think it's just like if someone did that to me, I would appreciate it. Like if my teacher would have did that, I was like, that'd be kind of cool to graduate and think about, oh man, I remember this guy. This is my old kindergarten teacher. What? Oh, what?
And I am Wonder Mike, and I like to say hello.
To the black, to the white, to the red and
That's all I
brown,
know.
purple and yellow. First I got a bang bang, a boogie to the hippie, to up jumps the boogie to the bang bang boogie. Don't stop, rocking at the beat to make your body rock. Now so far you heard my voice, blah, brought a few friends along. Next on the mic is my man Hank. Come on, sing that song.
Well, Jared Waters,
hey, man.
Keep up the good work.
Hoppe, keep pushing the genre forward, man. Keep doing it. Embrace who you are, man. Don't let anybody F with you, you know what I mean?
I never do.
Embrace who you are. Embrace the people, man.
Next time you're in Tampa, we definitely got to hang out again, and we definitely need to have you on the show again. And whenever you need me to plug anything, and once you get big, don't forget about Little Hoppe, even though I'm tall and big.
Little Hoppe, man. Hoppe, man, keep doing it, man. Keep freaking and doing it. Podcast, Hoppe Hour.
Thank you, bro. This has been Hoppe Hour, by the way. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe, saying peace out.
Brought to you by Warner Brothers Domesticated Distribution. Do you know how to say that? Do you know how to say that? Do you know that?
No, what is it?
At the end of the show, this TV show is brought to you by
they have the longest list.
A live studio audience by Warner Brothers Domesticated. I can't freaking say it. Warner Brothers Domesticated in front of F it.
You know what, though?
Yes.
That's going to be what you accomplish. When you have your own show, you're going to have the longest list of sponsors that they're going to have to speed it up for you.
Sponsored by the New Testament.
See you, Jared. Good luck in New York.
Appreciate it. Take it easy, man.
Hoppe Hour. Hoppe Hour.